Hooray! I think we are live. Hi, beauties. Sorry, I had a little microphone issue today for some strange reason. But I believe we're all good. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And I'm singing because it's time to raise that vibe, baby. Now I know why I act like a crazy lady and sing at the beginning of the calls. I think I shared last week. Is it a hard vibe? Even when you sound like me, apparently. Even when you sound like me. Please let me know. Facebook group, can you hear me? Oh, you can. Thank you, my angel. Yeah, I decided to go for something a bit different today. Okay. Okay, great. Meeting can hear me. Please let me know. Facebook group, can you hear me? I am streaming through, yeah. How are you? How are you all doing? I've just come off a great call with my coaching guru. Just magical, really, really magical. So I'm excited to connect with you today, my beauties. I'm excited. Okay, great. You can hear me. That's amazing. I'm a happy lady. I am a happy lady. So I am. So today we're going back to basics. And we are going to get you reacquainted with, familiar in the end result with a lot less resistance of your most sticky choice at the moment. What I was noticing recently was that very often, especially the choice that we feel or our ego tells us is the most difficult or the most far away or the most impossible, that very often we can slip into our old egoic patterns and be motivated by whatever our predominant beliefs are. I'm not good enough. I need to be perfect. I'm unworthy, I don't belong, etc., etc. I'm not capable. God help us if it's all of them. And it's not a laughing matter, is it? And here's the thing, the juiciest, the biggest, the most, the more our heart and soul would love it, the more resistance there will be there. So if there's loads of resistance, you know that this is a big juicy one, and it's so aligned and so true for you to create. And especially when we're working hard. Working hard is a fascinating one. Or we're making our morning routine a pain in the butt rather than a joy. And I can speak from experience because I've been down in the trenches. I've had experience of being down in the trenches where, it's been interesting and not always pretty. We like pretty, don't we? We like pretty, we like cuddly, but we're alchemists. We're not positive thinkers. We're alchemists who use the tough times to create what we love. And I just had this great image. I love the way my brain works sometimes. But I had this image of, a pendulum. And this comes from the Kybalion. Who's already read that book? And this is a reminder to everyone. If you haven't sent me your choices, please do send them. I sound like a teacher, don't I? I need to see your choices ASAP because that's a foundation. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not going to be judgy, but you have to see your choices, and also how are you all getting on the reading list? I'm not here to push you. I'm here to tickle you sometimes, but make sure you're moving your way through that reading list. And if you've got any questions as to, what's next or whatever, I think it's quite clear on the reading list. But feel free to email my assistant, let us know what you've read, and yeah, we'll help you out. But if you imagine, actually, you know what? I'm going to use my necklace. Hang on. So I'm referring to the book The Kybalion, or Kybalion, written by the Three Initiates. And it's some, you can even feel it when you hold the book. It's deep freaking magic. So that is absolutely, it's not recommended reading, it's necessary reading. It's one of the books that this work is based on. It's a foundation. It's an ancient, incredible book. And Doreen Virtue is going to be a bit weird nowadays. No judgment, much. She did a simplified version of it called Divine Magic. That's in your reading list as well, and that comes with a free CD. The days of CDs, eh? So that's a good little gentler explanation of it and for it. This, going back to the Kybalion, and one of the things that they talk about, so just imagine that, this is good times, bad times, rich, poor, healthy, unhealthy. Okay? So just say we amp that up a bit. Healthy, unhealthy. Really rich, not so rich. You see what's happening there? So the swing on this pendulum. Let me see if I can find a quotation actually, because I wasn't planning to talk about this. I just had that amazing vision to remind me. Yeah, let's do this. This is great. So just for your information, I just put Kybalion swing pendulum, and I've got some great information. So can you see how? Actually, let me just read this quotation to you. So it's the fifth hermetic principle, rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. So can you see how that affects and relates to your life and your choices? So rhythm is seen in many aspects of life: the rising and sinking of the sun, the rising and falling of empires and world powers, and our moods and emotions. And another quotation: This is actually from the Bible. There's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to tear down and a time to build, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. So to the alchemist, the principle of rhythm is the wind in which we're able to monitor and view the changes in our mental states. So rather than being pushed around by the tides, happy, unhappy, rich, poor, the alchemist is up here observing. So to the alchemist, the principle of rhythm is the window in which we are able to monitor and view the changes in our mental states. And this principle is the catalyst in which we adjust ourselves to find more balance and peace of mind. By understanding the principle of rhythm, we learn to appreciate and embrace the fact that all grief, I feel that all grief and pain is only temporary, along with its opposites, joy and happiness. When the alchemist learns to use this principle instead of being used by it, they are more capable to raise their vibration, break behavioral patterns, and are better prepared to face the rising and falling of the tides in their own life. The principle of rhythm grants the alchemist the wisdom and self-awareness to learn from every situation they face, both positive and negative. I'm going to put that in the chat box in both areas. Yeah, I used to sleep. That's a great thing, Han. I used to sleep with the Kybalion under my pillow sometimes, because many people say that when you do that, that you're actually imbibing, taking in that information into your consciousness. But it's a powerful book. I'll never forget when it was introduced to me, when I was learning to be a creator and live in my heart and an alchemist. It had a profound effect on many of us. And you can feel that power, that energy. And let me pop that in. Yeah. Okay, great. So, and then the other side of that, you see how trying to be positive and putting a brave, positive face on and everything's all right, and just positive think, how that's just, it's just redundant now. And I'm not knocking, any teachings or any belief system, because Mrs. Positive Thinker is how I survived my childhood, but also unfortunately I carried that into my life when I was stuck in those childish ways rather than allowing myself to be childlike, aka in innocence. I'm focused on creating what I love, And I remember it was pointed out to me around the same time that the Kybalion was introduced to me, of how, this was my negative, egoic survival pattern. And actually, it wasn't working. Of course, it wasn't working, because underneath I was misery, and all of these negative emotions like grief, etc., that I've never really felt. I've never really felt them. Never allowed myself to be real. Interesting, eh? So we're going to move it. It's back to basics, and back to basics. I remember when I made the shift from a TV producer to learning Chinese medicine and being a shiatsu practitioner. It was a 3-year uh, diploma course, and it was life changing. And it's interesting because I was still quite cynical about all of what we might call woo woo, but now, which we're seeing, it's scientifically backed up. And one of the main teachings, because you learn, and it's the same with this work, you learn so much, you got so much. It's like, oh my God. And those of you who are doing the certification, there's a lot to take in, the coach certification. But those who are learning the Respark and going deep with that, it's like, how much info is there? How much learning is there? It's beautiful, but it's dense, isn't it? And what we were always reminded was to just bring it back to beginner's mind. Bring it back. And look at, it's the same with this innocence. Just put your anchor on, step into innocence. Because then you're not allowing any filters or beliefs to get in the way. You're just an open vessel. And it's such a powerful place to be. So, so, so powerful. So, what would you love? So you might want to focus on the thing that's causing you the most resistance, worry, angst, fear. Perhaps the choice that you have the most worry and doubt around that it will ever manifest. So I'm going to just to give you a couple of minutes to just choose. So step one, we're going to, as always, we'll move through the 5 steps. What would you love? Where are you now? What's the resistance? Do the process. What's the next action? Okay. So what is it that you would love is your choice? Please let me know in the chat box. Where are you focused today? What would you love to create? What's your choice? I choose the end result of. I think everyone in this call and everyone who has access to the replay will have, you'll have access to the 4 orientational choices and your own choices. And something new that new students have been doing, which I really love, it's just a suggestion, is that rather than having the 4 orientational choices and their 6 choices, they're spending 3 to 6 months with just the 4 orientational choices, just to get into that structure, just to teach themselves this new way of being, to moving away, moving out of problem solving and to become a creator. And I really love that idea. And what's interesting is that they're creating some really, 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 really big things. Really, really big things. Okay, thank you. So there's a few people, what I'm noticing is, and notice this on the replay as well, that your choice has a lot of different things in it. I choose the end result of my beautiful home and having vibrant health and blah, blah, blah. Okay. One thing. Remember tension. We're creating tension when we look at what you'd love to create, point A, and we're looking at where you are now in relation to it, point B. Okay? Now, if you have a lot of different things, you're not going to be able to create that tension. Does that make sense? So choose one thing. One thing. And you can always listen to the replay and come back and use this session to actually work on your other choices. Okay. So one thing, and I suggest to choose the one that's causing you the most resistance. There you go. Move you into a place where you're one with that. And also, you're cool if it doesn't manifest, but you're choosing it. You're choosing it. And I kind of drop that in, and there's a lot of power to that, and there maybe even might be a lot of resistance to that. And if you're in doubt, then and you haven't attended a double bubble session, then I do recommend going through that, because you also need to let go of the resistance to it not manifesting, because having that resistance will actually stop you from creating it. Okay. So that's the double bubble session. If you felt a bit of a spark, a bit of resistance when I said that. Yeah. All right. So you'd love this. You'd love to create this choice. So I want you to imagine now. I want you to choose to step into innocence and set your intention to have a really wonderful experience in this session. Set your intention. You can set whatever intention you want. Okay, I choose to serve your highest heart and soul. To have a wonderful session. You choose to set your intention to get the value from this. And then you need to imagine that you're drawing a golden circle. And we're defining that circle as the end result that you're working on today. Okay? Maybe it's vibrant health. Maybe it's your perfect home, your magical, wondrous home, your elf business, your sovereign love, your sovereign love relationship, whatever the choice. Just we're going to define that golden circle as that end result. And I want you now to step into that end result. Okay? And allow this to be a full sensory experience. I choose the end result of, and you're this has already manifested. Okay? So you're in that end result and just feel, what does that feel like? What does that feel like? Notice. Notice how you're viewing the world when this choice has been made manifest, when you've created this. Notice how you're thinking. Notice who's there with you, what's happening in your world. So you're putting your bum, your feet in the end result of it being created, your hands, your head, all your body. Ah, I have created this. And just notice how sparkly it feels, how real it feels, what you're saying to yourself, what you're telling yourself. Notice what's happening in your life. How does it feel to have created this? What are you telling yourself? Who's with you? What are you doing? What's your ideal, average, perfect day like? Or what's the night before like? What's the night before you awaken into your ideal, average, perfect day? How? What's your evening routine like? What's your bedroom like? What's your home like? Just one choice. One choice. Staying focused. So you're teaching your body. You're teaching your body to be it, to see it. And now you awaken in the morning, and ahead of you is the ideal, average, perfect day. Another one. How is that day? What's your routine like? How is what's your self-talk like now that you are in this end result, now that you've created it? And how does it feel? Again, turn up those feelings, all of those positive emotions, turn them up. Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling joyful, ecstatic, grateful, blissed out, purposeful? Nice. And now, I want you to look behind you and imagine that you're drawing another golden circle. And we're going to define that as current reality. That's current reality. And I want you to step in and get a feel for your current reality. So, what are those beliefs that are playing out about you creating this end result? What are you believing? Good enough? Worthy? Capable? I need to be perfect? I don't belong? What beliefs are playing out? What would someone have to believe to create the current reality that you have now in relation to what you'd love to manifest, that end result? What are your thoughts in current reality? What are those worries? What keeps you up at night, or maybe first thing? What are those negative thoughts? Just notice. You might want to write them down. Feel free to share in the chat box. I'll keep it anonymous. What are those negative thoughts, those worries? Those fears? What are the emotions? What are those fears? It's too late. I'm too old. Others are better than me, prettier than me. Maybe there's a disconnect with your own inner wisdom and your own inner fucking brilliance. So what's happening in current reality? Allow yourself to just go really deep and shitty here. Excuse the technical term, but we are talking about alchemy. How do you finish the sentence? I would love that end result, but... How are you comparing yourself to friends? Or are you afraid of judgments from friends, from family, that you get ostracized if you are this incredible success, if you have that end result, if you have that love relationship, that amazing, luxurious home, that booming business, health and vitality? How do you think you'll be different to others? You know, is there an aspect of you that wants to keep yourself small, even though it's miserable? Well, what's going on with the ego there? It wants to keep you in your shit. So just notice, just allow it all to come up. What are you telling yourself about being a successful business person? You have to be cutthroat? What are you telling yourself about having this amazing relationship, that you have to have a perfect body or being abundant? What are of those things that you're telling yourself that you have to be to have that end result? Like, what are the stories? What are you believing? What are you allowing others to feed you? Fucking recession bollocks. Excuse my French. It's all coming out today. What are you choosing? What are you choosing? Where's your focus? Well done, everyone. I can feel that we've really allowed ourselves to go deep there. So put all of that, step 3, put all of that in a bubble. This bubble of poo. All of your resistance, all of those fears, everything from current reality into a bubble. And let me know what number. If 0 is like no resistance, I'm flowing boom towards that end result and creating it. And 10 is the most amount of resistance you can imagine. It's like trying to walk through treacle. What is your number of resistance? How much resistance is there? And please do pop it into the chat box. Okay, good. We've got some big high numbers today. Love a bit of that. Okay, good. That's really interesting. The call I've just been on, there were loads and loads and loads of 7s. So it must be a 7 day. 7, 8, 7, 7, 6, 5. Okay, good. Well done. Okay. So please give me permission to connect with your superconscious. We're going to remove that resistance. And I just wanted to talk about resistance for a moment. It's interesting that resistance, it's a double-edged sword. Okay. It's something that can get you started moving in one direction. However, it also then becomes something in your field that holds you captive. So, for instance, like maybe you, I don't know, an example, maybe you want to start a business. Okay. And you're doing that because you don't want to have a job. What you're going to find is that the power is in the job. The power that created your motivation was, I don't want a job. So just for instance, if you want to be rich because you don't want to be poor, same thing. So what has the power? What is the power? The not wanting to have a job has a power. The same if you want to have a relationship. Okay? You want to have a relationship, because you don't want to be single, all the power is in I don't want to be single. That's where the motivation is from. Therefore, when you move further away from the not being single or not having a job, you suddenly feel unmotivated because you don't have the powerful motivating force anymore. Because you solve the problem. So what happens is you create a business that looks a heck of a lot like a job so that you can create that power again to move away from the business that's now a job or the relationship that you started so you weren't single. So you'll find yourself very lonely in a relationship. Okay. So the truth is that we don't need to not want something in order to not have it. For example, you can be completely fine to have a job and still have a successful business. They don't need to coexist. You can be completely fine being single and having a loving relationship because that's your choice. Yeah? So this is key. What now? We all go, well, what now? We need to collapse that resentment. We want to collapse the thing that you're moving away from. And the way that we do this is we go and find the answer to actually allowing ourselves to really truly want that which we don't want to happen. Okay? So, a few things before we do this. I'm going to take you on a little transformative journey. And some people struggle with this. Okay? They think, well, if I want it, aren't I telling the universe that it should happen? So the confusion is that you think your thoughts create reality. Thoughts do not create reality. If thoughts create reality, we would have a very, very crazy reality. Who's with me on that? who gets that? Yeah. I love it. Yeah. Hands up for the crazy ones? Yeah. So can you imagine, like, in all seriousness, with a jokey face on, but can you imagine if every human being's thoughts create reality? Imagine, like, an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old, 15-year-old boys, nor girls, if their internal thought dialogue created reality, it'd be crazy. So thoughts don't create reality. I have lots of thoughts that I'm really glad don't manifest. So thoughts don't create reality. Thoughts turned into emotion that are consistently held turn into action. Okay. And that creates reality. So it's your actions that create a reality. And it's fine to have a thought and to know that it won't create reality. Okay? But we need to collapse that resistance. So you're just desiring to have a love relationship just because you want the relationship. But you'd also be just as fine being single. Okay? This is how you get to a place where there's no power outside of you. You're not giving money the power. You're not giving the business, the clients, the lover the power. Like, can you just feel the power in that and how you're stepping into your power? So this is going to push you the first time, but it gets easier and easier. So I'm going to do a little respark at the end. I'm going to take you through the double bubble meditation. So go ahead and close your eyes. This is the double bubble meditation. And make sure you're comfortable. You might want to uncross your arms and legs unless you're sitting in a lotus position. Make sure you're not going to be disturbed. And start to bring your attention to your breathing. And just notice how much you relax more and more with each exhalation. And just setting the intention to get the most from this meditation and choose to go with it, to go inside. And as you go inside, just feel into the moment, this eternal now. And just be here with yourself. And as you're here now, I'd like you to bring up that thing that you're resisting. And I want you to think about it. The thing that you don't want to happen. I want you to notice how you don't want it to happen. Notice how this isn't what you'd like at all. And as you're noticing those things which are completely true, could you also notice that there's a couple of things that might be all right about it? It would be all right if you went bankrupt. You would have some time off to recalibrate. You'd have no pressure. Be all right to have a job if you enjoyed it, wouldn't it? If you had a good place to work. Wouldn't it be all right? Wouldn't it be nice to be single? There's some great things about that. Isn't it nice sometimes to eat unhealthy food? To feel like that. And I just want you to notice, if you can, just want you to poke a couple of holes in this and just notice a couple of things and just push yourself. Now, we're not saying it's going to happen. We just want you to notice that there's a couple of things that could be quite positive about this, and just notice a few things. That's it. And as you notice a few things, just feel good about it. Just feel good about it. Hey, you know what? This would actually be all right. And focus on the things that will be good, and focus on a couple of things that will be all right. Even if this is going to push you, even if this is not seeing your children enough, or your friends, family. Just notice a couple of things that will be good, that will be all right about that. Again, not saying this is going to happen. I can feel the internal tension. Just notice a couple of good things about having a job. A couple of good things about going bankrupt. Just notice a couple of good things about it not working out. Just notice a couple. And as you notice those, focus on the things that will be all right. Just focus on them right now. Just focus on those things that will be all right. How does it feel to focus on those things? A little uncomfortable? That's all right. Now let's switch to the thing that you really desire. The opposite side of the coin. You want to have a successful business, be in a great relationship, spend lots of time with your children, friends, your family. Notice the things that you truly desire. That's it. And as you truly desire this, I'd like you to take a couple of things, just notice a couple of things that would be less than positive. Just notice a couple of things that would be less than positive. So I've got this business, but think about the stress you have to have with the business. And the bigger the business, the bigger the problems. Yeah, it would be great to make all of this extra money and travel the world, but airports aren't the best. I want you to notice a couple of things that aren't so good about what it is that you desire. Oh, it would be so good to spend time with the kids, my family, my friends, but just notice you don't have free time. It would be so great to be in a relationship, but just notice a few things that aren't so positive about it. Focus on some of the things that aren't positive. Remember, it's okay to do so. You're not going to create this reality just because you think about it once. And I want you to think about all the positives and negatives of this reality, the thing that you desire. That's it. And then focus on some of the negatives. That's it. You're doing so well. You're doing great. And now I want you to focus on the negative. Focus on the thing you don't desire to create. Go and focus on the thing you don't desire to create, the thing that you've been resisting. And look at everything that's involved there. Then look at some of the positives for a moment. And I want you to stand in the reality of the thing that you desire not to manifest. Just notice. It will be all right. And it wouldn't be that bad. And I just want you to get to this place that you know, I could actually live this way. What would be good about it? How would it feel? And as soon as you've done that and see how it would feel, go to the thing that you do desire and notice how that would feel. Notice. There's positives and negatives there as well. And I want you to just go back and forth. Notice the one you don't desire to create and notice how it feels. It feels not too bad. It's all right. Maybe you don't get to spend much time with your kids, your family, your friends. That's all right. You know that happens. You've got other cool things happening in your life. Maybe you are single, but that's all right. You get to have some freedom. You get to look after yourself. You're in a job. That's all right. You don't have any stress. You're able to clock in, clock out. That's all right. And then notice the things that you do want. Maybe you want to spend more time with the kids, your friends, your family. Fantastic. That's going to be awesome. But notice the things you miss out on. Maybe you can't have that freedom that you used to have. You want to have a successful business. But think about all the stress that's there with that. You want to have a successful relationship. Notice the time you don't have to yourself. And then just keep going back and forth until you notice they feel about the same. Now, I want you to experience both of them in one reality. Experience both. The thing that you desire and the thing that you don't desire. And I want to ask you, how does that feel? Can you notice that in both circumstances, there's positives and negatives? The truth is, it doesn't matter which one you go to. You'll still take yourself. What would it be like to equally desire both experiences? What would that be like to equally desire both experiences? What would that feel like? So go ahead and feel that right now. Feel what it would be like. I know, I'm pushing you. It's okay, you can do this. It's not going to manifest unless you choose it. So right now, just decide to feel both of them with equal desire. Equal desire having a business and having a job. Equally desiring to be in a relationship, not in a relationship. Equally desiring spending time with your friends and family or not spending time with your friends and family. Equally desire. Now, well done. And now that you're there, keeping your eyes closed, now that you equally desire both, go ahead and choose the reality that you're really looking to create. But choose it from a place where you could have its opposite and it wouldn't matter. Choose from a place where you're not choosing to get away from something. Just choose it because you love it. Choose it because you're choosing it. Just decide that's what you prefer out of the two options, which are both fine, they're both livable and doable. And just go ahead and choose the one you want right now and tell me, how does it feel to live that life? What's it like? What things do you have? Who do you have? What do you do? How does it feel to make this choice? And just choose it. Decide it. Decide this is the one you're going to have from all the available options. And now that you've decided it, I want to see yourself really living this experience through your own eyes. Put a big smile on your face. Make the decision. Make this choice. Where are you going to be in 3 months' time? Make that decision. What's life going to be like in 6 months' time? Make that decision. What's life going to be like in 1 year? How's life going to be like in 3 years from now? Choose it. Make that decision. And now, what do you need to do today to move towards that end result, that choice? What do you need to do today? When you're ready, opening your eyes gently, feeling great, feeling like you've made this choice. You're in it. You're at one with it, feeling like you're creating for creation's sake. And continue on your day. Having an amazing, incredible day. And I love you. Good choosing. Aloha. And now, super conscious of you there, any residual resistance, please tag and treat. We do a massive change history and everything that's needed. Thank you. And please ground all the memories we touched today back into the matrix of the universe. Living memories 1, 2, 3. Amazing. Good work, everyone. So let me know how you're doing. You got your action step. What was your first number and where are you now? 10-0. These are the numbers I love. I love it all. No judgment. But that was powerful, wasn't it? Yeah. Good. 7-0. 7-3. 8-1. Well done. 8-0. 7-1. Well done, everyone. Isn't it magic? I love that one. I love that so much. 6-0. Well done. 8-1. Okay, I love you all so much. Have an amazing one and big hugs. Aloha. Bye, babies. Love you.